Okay, I've had a few students send me an email or a comment asking about the IXL section V6. The IXL V.6, based on the title, write a linear function. Each one of these, you're going to be writing an equation that's going to go into this form that we've talked about. Lesson 9.5 is about slope-intercept form. So this right here is the slope every time, and then this is your y-intercept. It's where it hits the y-axis. So in this first example that pulled up, I just started, so this is going to be like a beginning one here. Where it hits the y-axis right here, it's halfway between a -60 and a -80, so that's at -70. That's this y-intercept, that's the b. So I already know that my equation is y equals some number times x. And then since the y-intercept is at -70, I'm going to put it as -70. And now I need to figure out the slope or the steepness of the line. So I want to know how steep is it. So I just pick a point and I go up and over, or down and over, but I'm going to go up and over to get back on the line. And I can pick from lots of choices here because this line is going through the grid corners. So I have lots of choices. So if I start here at the y-intercept, I'm going to use the x-intercept here. And so from here up to the origin, I would have to go up 70, and then I would have to go right to, let's see, 70 as well. So I go up 70 and over 70, up and over. So my steepness is up 70, and it's positive. I don't really need to put that, but up 70 and right 70. And the steepness is the m in my y equals mx plus b, but 70 over 70 is just 1. So I could put a 1 there, or I could put nothing at all. I'm going to type it in with nothing at all because it'll be understood as a 1. So when there's my equation right here, I don't need to even put a number there since it would be a 1. So I'll go ahead and answer this one. Y equals x minus 70. Oop, 70. And yay, I got it right. Let's do another one here. So I'll clear that out. Let's see on this one. Let's see, where is it hitting? It is hitting at the origin. So in my y equals mx plus b, this b is a 0 because it hits at 0 on the y-axis. And now, since it's adding 0, I won't need to put that at all. And you might remember this from lesson 9.4. This is a direct variation, so it has a simpler equation. There's no plus b on it at all. I just need to figure out the steepness. So if I go from this point right here, I want to go up and over, but I don't want to do any guessing. So I'm going to keep going up here following this line until I get to where it's crossing, where grid lines cross. And I can see right where this is right here. It looks like it's up at 600 and over, well, halfway between 0 and 200, over 100. So the steepness is up 600 and over 100. So that's 600 divided by 100. That is 6, and that's my m. So my equation is y equals 6x. And I don't need to put that plus 0. It'll be understood as a 0 out there, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my equation, y equals 6x. Good work. And so let's do another one here. Let's clear this out and let's take a look at it. First thing, where it hits the y-axis is your b. So in y equals mx plus b, on this particular one, I already know the b from here. It's hitting at -40. So it's going to be something times x and then minus 40 since it hits at -40. And now I need to find the slope right here. And so I'm going to do a rise over run sort of movement. It looks like it's like the first one I did. It's up the same amount as I have to go over. So I'm going to go up 40 over 40. I could go up 10 over 10. I could go up 20 over 20. But if I did up 40 over 40, both those are positive movements, up and right. And that's 1, so I don't need to put that 1. So it's y equals x minus 40. Y equals x minus 40. And submit that. Look at me go. And so let's do another quick one. Where does it hit the y-axis? I'll save some writing here. This one hits the y-axis at halfway between 0 and negative 20. So this is negative 10. So it's going to be something x minus 10. And then this number here is the steepness all the time. So up 10, right 10, this is again a 1. If I go up 10 and right 10, that's a 1. So I could put a 1 there. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to put y equals x minus 10. Here's another one that goes through the origin. If it goes through the origin, that means you're not going to need the b at all, y equals mx plus b, but this part's going to be a 0 because it hits at 0. And now this one is going down as we go to the right, so that means this is going to be a negative slope value, a negative m. So if I look at it, if I go from here, I would go down 1, but then it's halfway between, so go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. If I go down 2, right 1, that's negative 2. And so that is the slope number. So it's y equals negative 2x. And I don't need to put that plus 0. So y equals negative 2x. Submit that, and then let's do maybe 2 more. Get me up over 50. So this one goes to the origin again. If it goes to the origin, that means we don't need the b at all. So y equals mx. I'm not going to bother with putting a plus 0. And then the steepness of the line, I want to go up and over, but I don't want to guess. So this looks like a nice point right here. It's up at 5, and I have to go over just 1. So this slope is 5 over 1. And I'm going to put that in as 5, because 5 divided by 1 is 5. So this is just y equals 5x. So y equals 5x. And then, let's see, what do we have here? It hits at negative 20. So that's in my equation. Y equals something x minus 20. I know I have something in front of the x. I need to figure out the steepness, and it looks like it's like several of the previous ones. I go up and over the same amounts. If I go up 20, I go over 20. So the slope is 20 over 20, which is 1. So I don't need to put that 1 there. It's just y equals x minus 20. And let's see. Oh, this is another very similar one. I'll do my work just below this one. Y equals something x. It hits down here at negative 50, so that's what goes after the x. And then the number in front of x, if I do the slope or steepness, I go up 50 over 50. So yet again, my steepness is 1. So I'm not going to bother with that 1. Y equals x minus 50. Hoping for kind of a messy one. And it's not. I'm wanting to get to one that's as a different sort of slope, but turns out we're getting a very repetitive situation here. That's okay, we'll just keep doing a few examples. Y equals something x, and look where it hits. It hits at negative 800, so that's what goes after the x term. And then if I look at this graph, if I went up 800, I would go over 800. So the up and over movement to get from from one point to another is 800 over 800, which is again a 1, and I don't need to put that. So y equals x minus 800. This one looks viciously similar, only it hits at negative 900. And then we go up 900 over 900. So this one's going to be y equals x minus 900. It hits the y-axis at negative 900. So there's my y-intercept. And my steepness is up 900 over 900. So my steepness is 1. 900 divided by 900 is 1. So y equals x minus 900. I was hoping for some, let's see, hits at the origin. What do we know about the equations when it hits at the origin? It means I don't need a b at all. I could put plus 0 if I wanted to, but that's pointless. Adding 0 doesn't change anything. This line is going down to the right, so I know m is a negative number. So if I start here at the origin, I need to go down and over, but I don't want to guess, so I'm going to go to here. Right here, it looks like it's down at negative 500 and over at 100. So the steepness is down 500 over 100. And the zeros can cancel out. You end up with negative 5. So that is my slope number. So it's y equals negative 5x. I keep hoping for a different sort of slope number. This is going to be y equals x minus 100. It's minus 100 because it hits down here at negative 100. And then the steepness is an understood 1. I didn't bother to write it, but I go up 100 over 100. So 100 over 100 is 1, and that's why I didn't put a coefficient there. So I will give this Ixl section one more chance to give me something different. Oh, and it didn't. But maybe we'll be okay. We can do an up and over movement here. The y-intercept is again 0, so because it hits at the origin. So y equals mx. I don't need the plus 0. I need to find this m. It is going down as we go to the right, so it's going to be a negative number. So from this point, I'm going to go down and over. Looks like I could go down 1 and right 3 and get back on the line. So down 1, right 3. And that's a little bit different here. This is a fraction, and I'm going to leave it as a fraction. And so I'm going to y equals negative 1/3. And do I have to put a space there? Well, we'll find out. If it counts it wrong, we'll find out. Hey, it didn't count it wrong. So that should get you going. The y equals mx plus b. Do this first. So first do the y-intercept. Where does it hit the y-axis? And then the slope, do it second. So do the slope second, and you do rise over run from one point on the line to any other point on the line. Just try to pick nice ones so you can tell where they cross. Like on this next one that I'm not even going to bother to do, I could go up 3 over 1, or I could do up 6 over 2, or up 9 over 3. All those will give me the same slope value that would go right here. It hits at the origin, so the b would be 0, and there we go. So hopefully that will help you out if you're struggling on V.6. But again, the Ixls, don't worry too much about them. If you get it 60 or so average, you'll be fine on those.